standard axle isn't done by using two 5mm Allen keys. Then remove the end cap and the bearing preload adjuster. Then the axle and the drive shell pull straight out from the hub. The heavy duty axle is slightly different. Undo the lock ring with a 3/32 inch Allen key. Then unscrew the lock ring, remove it and push out the axle. When removing the drive shell, it helps to turn it anti-clockwise a little bit. Then pop the large split ring and the wedge over the extension bar. And then insert the T-handle from the back of the hub and thread the extension shaft into the T-handle without expanding the wedge. Then thread the milled ring a couple of turns onto the extension shaft, pull it all inside the hub, tighten up the extension shaft into the T-handle so it expands the wedge, and then tighten the milled ring down against the lock. Then tap the end of the T-handle with a mallet to remove the internals. Then unscrew the milled ring and take off the main drive side bearing, the driven and drive rings, the spring and the spring capture plate, and remove the hub tool from the hub shell. Give the drive shell a quick wipe down with a clean rag or some soft tissue. And then a good way of cleaning the helical splines is dragging a toothbrush along them. Make sure it's all totally clean. The drive and driven rings also have to be completely spotless, so clean them in a similar way. Putting the whole thing back together is also quite straightforward. First thing is a spring capture plate, then the spring, then the drive ring, and then the driven ring, and it should all pop in place just using your fingers. Next up is the nylon washer, and then the main drive side bearing with the silver split ring facing outwards. Then press it all back together using the T-handle and the milled ring as shown. Lube the teeth by separating the drive and driven rings and dropping some lube in between them while rotating the drive ring. The splines on the drive shell also need lubing. An easy way to do this is rotating the drive shell in your hand while dropping lube onto the splines. If the lube is too thick, it will cause the hub to skip. King USA used Pedros Sin chain lube, and here I'm using Finish Line wet cross-country chain lube. The drive shell locates into the hub shell with a firm clip. Spread a small amount of lube onto the needle race on the axle, and then insert it into the drive shell. Thread the preload adjuster ring onto the end of the axle, tighten it down finger tight, and then thread in the end cap. Tighten the two ends against each other to 110 inch-pounds. For the heavy duty axle, thread on the adjuster ring finger tight, and then nip up the bolt with the Allen key, checking that the bearings do not bind. And that's it, well done!